Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Scrappy potentially calling out Prime Scump in a major discussion between who is the best Call of Duty player in the SMG role, potentially of all time. Scrap has a different discussion to what you'd imagine the most of the community has, but also why is Nadeshot quitting Call of Duty, it seems, entirely. After liking Black Ops 6 so far, there are multiple problems pushing Nadeshot away from Call of Duty as a whole. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. First of all, here is Scrappy and his card for the Satron qualifiers so far. It's not been Scrappy's best run of form, but this is the thing with Scrappy. It's like, even when he's not playing his best, he's still right up there. Certainly in the damage category. I mean, kills per 10 minutes is one of the hard points. Interesting because there's been many ARs so far that have good kills, good damage, and also good hill time. Dashy is one of them. Dashy is like similar numbers to Scrappy, kills per 10, damage per 10, but he also has the hill time. Whereas for Scrap, it's like, no, he's going to run around and get the kills. Ghosty and the other teammates are going to pick up the hill time instead. So it's always interesting to see the different dynamics between the teams, how they operate in hardpoint. Obviously, Thieves' hardpoint has been pretty damn good, but they believe, or at least they say, their practice has been better than they've played in the matches so far. His search and destroy numbers, like a 1.2 KD, not the most impactful though in the mode according to some of the numbers. And then again, control, high kills, high damage, but Scrap can play better than this. I think that he knows that, but also he now has HyDra, who is there to, you know, get some kills. And obviously last year on Toronto, usually it was Scrappy doing most of the damage. Speaking of Scrappy, he does get S tier in the Cloud9 boys rankings of where their players sit. There's some coaches, of course, in here as well, but I thought it was interesting what they put together with, you know, certain players in the S tier. Of course, we've got the likes of Crowder and Karma and Sender and like RJ and these coaches up here in the S tier as well. But yeah, obviously you can't put everyone in the S tier, and this is what Attach and obviously Accuracy came up with. Simp, HyDra, Scrappy, Shotzzy, Pred. Of course, well, Pred no longer in the league for the time being. And then you've got the likes of Dashy, Kenny, Drazah, aBeZy, Cell, CleanX, etc. down there in the A tier with Accuracy as well. A tier coach in their opinion. And you know, Rambo as well. Still in the OpTic jersey, of course, from a couple of years ago. Slasher in the B tier, although maybe that story would change. Same with Gwyn as well, after what we've seen over the last few days. Gwyn, of course, with the highest KD in the entire league so far. There have also been questions. Has he control or just control full stop? Because right now, of the first couple of weekends, there have been 2 protocol controls played and 22 vault controls. Honestly, most of the time, I've barely tuned in for these controls. I'm half watching, I'm half not watching. It's, yeah, it's not the best to watch. Control has arguably been going downhill every year over the last few years. It was probably at its best in Black Ops 4 when it was first introduced. 5v5 specialist on those great maps, it worked really rather well. Since then, it's probably been downhill every year. Black Ops Cold War was okay. This year, again, it's kind of cooked. Hassi control just doesn't work, so you can't bring that in either. So what are we going to do with control? This has been a serious question. Nadeshot gave his take on it as well, and Zoom was talking about it and saying, look, the game mode is just terrible. The maps suck for it as well. It's so bad. So, look, Zoomer made the thought a while ago, what about headquarters instead? Headquarters is kind of like Hardpoint, where there's a, well, location you have to go to on the map and capture it. Once you capture it, you get points every couple of seconds towards, you know, I think it's first to 250, similar to Hardpoint really. But once you've captured the headquarter zone, then you know you don't respawn. So it's actually a great game mode. It used to be played in competitive way back in the day. It was at least considered to be a reasonably competitive mode. And, you know, on some level, it's another hybrid between Hardpoint and Search and Destroy. I think that's where Control has been okay to me, is that it's not a great game mode, but it's, you know, between, to some degree, Hardpoint and Search. There are points you got to capture, but there are also lives that matter as well. So for newer fans, it's kind of understandable that, okay, you play Hardpoint, no, you know, respawns, no problem at all, and you capture the zone, super fast-paced. Control, you know, you don't respawn forever, capture the point, and then search and destroy, you don't respawn at all. So if there is going to be a third game, I don't mind it being something in that kind of ballpark, or, you know, capture the flag if it played well, be okay as well. But I think that if you're going to get rid of control, headquarters is probably the game mode to choose, because again, it's live dependent, but also it's control point dependent. It probably wouldn't be absolutely terrible in my opinion, but enjoy your thoughts in the comments below. Shotzzy was also giving his thoughts as well on the map set right now, and as far as he is concerned and aware, it's going to be Rewind hardpoint going for Hacienda hardpoint, and Skyline search and destroy going for Hacienda search and destroy. That it seems is the way that it currently is. Shane and the Thieves boys maybe aren't so happy about this, because Rewind is not the best hardpoint map. However, it does play, like, it's not great, and the spawns are a bit sticky, but you can read the spawns. Generally speaking, the map doesn't have a crazy amount of elevation. It's relatively consistent in the way that a map plays. I don't massively like it, but I can understand why some of the pros actually do. But it seems that most of the teams want to get rid of Rewind hardpoint. Now, this is one of Thieves' better maps. It is the only hardpoint map I think they've lost so far. They lost it to FaZe, didn't they? But they do still like it a lot. And I do wonder whether for Thieves it's going to be a similar story. You guys remember Toronto last year? Basically, their best maps got removed after the first stage, you know, Skid Row, Search and Destroy, stuff like this. And then they were never quite the same team again. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see whether Thieves will also struggle if Rewind hardpoint is gone. And Skyline Search is also a map that they quite like as well. But again, probably not the most competitive. And actually, it was Scrappy that said that on stream not long ago that Skyline looks good, but it doesn't actually play that well. So those are the two maps that reportedly are going to be getting replaced for Hacienda in the near future. But let's talk about Nadeshot before we discuss the Scrappy stuff, because Nade officially made the announcement yesterday that like Call of Duty playing it, grinding it on stream is just, you know, it's got to him, right? And we know it's frustrating to me to hear this from Nade, especially because he's such a big Call of Duty guy, still so heavily involved in the scene. It's not like he's not going to be watching the Los Angeles Thieves games in the CDL, but playing it has got too much for him, and I don't blame him at all with the state of, you know, the Call of Duty in general right now. He likes the game fundamentally. The game is solid fundamentally, and it's better than the last few games. But as he says, I can't play it, I can't enjoy it, there's no integrity, someone's always cheating, the network sucks, or the game is somewhat broken. So yeah, wanted to share this for you guys because I thought it was a bit of a sad day.
Call of Duty has served us up a pile of shit from a network performance standpoint. They won't invest in better servers, higher tick rate servers. There's no server protections. There's no safeguards to make sure players are having a fair gaming experience. The shame in all this, like the biggest issue that I have with all this is that Black Ops 6 is actually a lot of fun. The game is fun for me to play if it were working properly. The core mechanics of the game are fun. I enjoy the movement. I enjoy the gunplay. I enjoy some parts of the foundation of the game, but I can't play it. I can't enjoy it. There's no integrity. Somebody's cheating, or the network sucks, or the game is broken. I'm certainly not retiring from Black Ops 6, but I definitely will not be playing it every day. I just can't. I don't enjoy it enough to sit here and play it every day. They made a great game, but then they try to save money for their shareholders, for the bottom line, for their business units, their P&L. They think nobody will notice, nobody will care. The times have changed, Call of Duty. We gotta wake up.
And it's frustrating that Call of Duty is in the spot that it is, because the game fundamentally is not bad. As Scrappy even says, the last few years, he would give the CODs we've played a 4 out of 10. This game, he gave it like a 7. But and he said it would be like an 8 or better if the maps were good, which, you know, I think is probably justified. The Omni movement's good, like it's a tryout game. It's not, you know, quite as good as the Tryout Classics, in my opinion, but it's still better than the last few years of COD. But the cheating problem and many other issues have made the game, for some people, pretty much unplayable, which is, you know, a sad sight to behold, I've got to say. Now, a little bit of drama going down here between Scump and Scrappy, at least on some level. Scump was talking about Dashy and giving him lots of praise. Dashy, you know, to me going into the season, I mentioned it in the Breaking Point kind of like pre-season discussion that we had, that Dashy was my, like, MVP player to watch. I'm not sure after the first couple of weekends I can stand by that so much, just because it does look like, you know, the SMGs again are cooking, and they likely will continue to do so throughout the year. I was thinking, though, this year was like, surely we've got to have an MVP again that's an AR player. We've not had it now for a few years. 2020, of course, was Shotzzy, an SMG player. 2021 was, I guess, Simp won the MVP more than likely that season, didn't he? So that was 2021. 2022 was, I think, Cellium. So he was an AR. But since then, the last couple of years, it's been, 2023 was HyDra, and then this most recent season again was Simp, wasn't it? So, yeah, it's been lots of SMGs, and if you look at the league, generally speaking, the SMGs have been dominating the numbers. This year, I think that potentially is still going to be true, but I think that in terms of from an AR side, Dashy is the man to look for me, and he's been absolutely killing it so far, not just in the respawns, but also in the search and destroy. We saw Scrappy's numbers earlier on as well, and he's had a solid start to Black Ops 6 by any means, but Scrap was talking about Prime Simp versus Prime Scump. Now, of course, Scrappy only came into the league a couple of years ago, so he's not really well positioned to talk about this that much, in my opinion, because he didn't play Prime Scump. You know, he didn't play the guy that was basically the best player in the game for years on the bounce in a row. Simp is an incredible player, one of the most talented players to ever play CoD. Obviously, his accolades don't necessarily stack up with where Simp's talent is, and I still think Simp's an unbelievable player. I think he's still going to be phenomenal this season. When exactly Simp's prime was, whether he's still in it, that's a question, I guess. But, you know, Scrap's debating about it and says that respectfully, even to Scump, some people will be better than your favorite players. But I feel like this is a classic Scrappy analysis on the situation. Doesn't, to me, fully consider, you know, what Scump was doing for absolutely years in competitive CoD.
What'd you think about Big Brucey becoming the most clutch player in the league? Oh, Big Brucey, that guy, Big Brucey is clutch. I can't even lie. That guy, Bruce has some ice, bro. Bruce has some absolute ice on him. Because that guy, I swear, that guy is always clutching. 1v2s, 1v1s, it doesn't really matter. That guy's always clutching, bro.
It's actually crazy. You can't compare people that played 10 years ago to people that play today. It's just so different. Like, the people are just gonna be better. Like, bro, would you say like Simp? Would you say like Simp's better than Scump? I mean, like, technically, you got to, bro. Like, that guy was him for a couple of years, man. Scump was a top 5 player for like 4 years straight. You could say Simp's been a top 2 player for 6 years straight. I mean, like, we can keep right. Like, yeah, I agree. Scump's fucking godlike. Scump's godlike, right? He was godlike for sure. He's been one of the best players for since he's entered the league. People who are in their prime back then, you put them against people in their prime nowadays, it's just like, bro, some people are gonna be better than your favorite players, respectfully. But people will never bring it up because some of these people would fucking fuck these fucking OpTic people. Some of these people would fuck Seth, literally. I tip it. I could tip the fan base.
So it was 2 years ago, pretty much to the day, where Scump played his final pro tournament. Obviously, he went to play online again, and then he shortly afterwards retired. But yeah, it turned out that Raleigh 2022, going into the 2023 season, was Scump's final ever tournament, which is just about when Scrappy was coming into the league. So, look, he played Scump when Scump was probably still top 10 player in that kind of ballpark when he called it a day. And sure, there was a little overlap there in their careers. And Simp is also an unbelievable talent as well in CoD. But to me, it's difficult to look past Scump on this. I mean, you look back at, even from Black Ops 2, but certainly Ghosts, Advanced Warfare, BO3, Infinite Warfare, that whole run, like, Scump was absolutely untouchable on the SMG pretty much all of the time. And yeah, he would do things that no other SMG would do. The only modern day equivalent to Prime Scump is what we see from HyDra, I would say, today, when HyDra's absolutely killing it and when he's at his best. That's the player who most resembles what Scump used to do. But intrigued to your thoughts, of course, as always, and all this stuff in the comments section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.
Hey, you girlfriend or no? Accident.
What, Shotzzy?
Girlfriend or no?
No, that's haram.
Oh, salam. Oh, sure, baby. Oh. No way. No way.
You're not, Shotzzy.
Yeah. my goodness.